Hi, my name is Jennifer and I own a store on Etsy called Raven Knights Crafts, and tonight I'm going to do for you my first tutorial. So I hope this goes well. If there's a few hiccups, I apologize. I will get better over time, but I'm really excited to show you guys this Chakra beaded leather bracelet. This is a special leather. This leather actually has a rubber core in it, and this allows for a memory wire to pass through it. There are a couple different types of leather that you can buy. You can buy this braided leather, and you can also buy the braided leather with the rubber core in it, and it also can be sold hollow. And I bought this particular braided leather from Best Beads. But Goody Beads also sells these, and they sell a Portuguese version that is instead of being braided, it's like a soft plain leather, and inside it's a hollow core. So this was really fun. Okay, so I saw this about a week and a half ago, and I wasn't 100% sure how to get this to work. The wire I had initially bought was a 17 gauge wire, and it wasn't going through the tube. It ended up being that 17 gauge is way too big. So I'm actually starting out with a 22 gauge wire, which you can buy at any craft store. And I did about 20 inches of this wire to start with, and then we'll cut it down as we need to. The next thing is you'll see that I have my Chakra beads, which I purchased from Etsy, which was nice. It's nice to purchase from other Etsy sellers. I have 2 end caps where we will put our toggle clasps. Then I have our jump rings, and then I have these really beautiful beads that will go around our center to finish off any loose or raw leather. So that's nice. And then these are O-rings, and these O-rings will be used to, you'll see on this one, to just kind of keep this really clean and neat, because sometimes braided leather frays a little bit, so it just helps clean it up and make it look really, really nice and neat. Okay, so I'm just going to quick show you my leather bunch, just because I want to show you the leather cord, or the rubber cord inside, sorry. Get in here for a minute, and you guys can hopefully see that. There's the rubber cord in there, and you can see how it frays. So I can just cut that off. So to start out my project, I cut off about 7 inches of my braided leather. And this one was probably about 7 inches as well. This, I think, is probably more like an 8-inch bracelet. This ends up being pretty big. But that's okay. Go ahead and cut your leather out at about 7 inches, because you can always shorten it if you need to. And before you put on your end caps here, if it ends up being too big. That way, you're better off working with too much instead of too little. Otherwise, you'll be making some kid bracelets, which I have a 3-year-old, and she would totally love this, so she wouldn't mind if I made a mistake, because she gets my scraps. All right, so let's go ahead. I just wanted to quick show you that I actually fed the first 2 O-rings on. It can be a little bit tricky to do this. And you'll notice that I taped off my ends here, right here. I did that because I said before the leather can fray. So what I did is I pulled the rings past it, and then when I'm ready, I'll take this tape off so that it doesn't end up underneath the clasp so that you can't see it. But just a quick little trick, and we'll have to do this on the other side. I'll probably break when I go put this on, because it does take a few minutes. And I'm just still learning how to be proficient at this. I learned this today at Bead Breakout in Rochester, New York from Valerie Bubb. And so I still have to work on it to get it proficient. But I'm just taking my my needle nose pliers, and I'm just sliding it on. And you can see here, I can get it right in the camera, it stretches nice. So it helps you get it up over your taped area. So I just wanted to show that to you really, really quick. Okay, the first thing I want to do is take my wire, you can do it a couple ways. You can do it so that it's facing this way, or you can feed it all the way through and then just feed your tail through the backside. I would recommend doing that if you have a hollow cord leather, but with the rubber, I am not 100% sure it's actually going to loop back through. It's because when you do 22 and 22, it makes it really thick. So I just don't think it's going to fit. So I'm going to try it this general direction. So I'm just going to start and find my core. Take me a second. I am a little concerned that the O-rings are actually squeezing it, but I was trying to figure out a good method of doing this without the leather fraying. So here, what I'll do is I'll bring this right back up here. And sometimes the good thing about these beginner videos is that since I'm learning too, you're going to kind of see where I struggle. So then hopefully when you go to do it, you'll kind of already know what to do. So I'm just pulling this back so that it can see the tube. There it goes. So now that's going in really, really nice right now. So that's really wonderful. So this will look really awesome when I'm finished. So it does. It's moving really, really easy. So that's good. So the good news is that these O-rings, if you do put them on ahead of time, it's not squeezing that tube inside. That tube inside's pretty sturdy. Like I said, you can go back all the way through if you would like to. I'm going to try to, I'm guessing. So if I push this all the way through, let's see how far I can get it. See, now it's coming out the end. So I'm going to pull back quite a bit. Okay. So I think it's probably about there. And I think that's pretty good. So right now what I want to start doing is I have this cap, and you'll see the hole is quite big, that fits this 5mm cord. I really love this. This is beautiful. I got this at Bead Breakout as well. And I really think this is gorgeous. It just does a really nice job of hiding any loose leather. And if you do get kind of a lot of leather in here, you can just trim this down, which is really nice with a pair of scissors. This comes right off. Just be careful. You shouldn't be able to cut your wire with scissors, but just be careful to make sure you don't. Wire is pretty, it's pretty sturdy. Probably better to use the scissors should be a lot smaller, but this is what I have right now. So when you have toddlers and stuff, who knows where your stuff ends up half the time. Okay. Alright, so this should slide right over the top here now. You'll see, it should be really, really pretty. I'm really excited. See how pretty that is? I love it. Just gonna tuck it in a little bit more. See, that fits pretty snug. It's like a perfect fit. I was pretty excited. So for the chakra bracelet, I'll go ahead and I'll post what the meanings are later. I'm not real proficient in the chakra actual meanings. I actually had the chakra beads for a class that I was teaching. So these were left over. So I'll go ahead and I'll post that information later in the video. So go ahead and just feed this through. If you have to cut this end off because it crimped it, that's fine. You have plenty of wire to work with. And you're probably like, what is this big tool? Well, this is actually a husky tool for the house. I was looking for new wire cutters today and I could not find ones that I thought were affordable. So I went and got my household ones. Hey, whatever works, right? See, now that worked good. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to follow my example from before. So I'm using the purple. Yeah, so you definitely want You're going to want better wire cutters because it kind of chewed up my wire, but I'm not too worried because I had so much of it I could just cut it off at the end. Okay, so that's the blue, or that's the purple. This is like a dark blue, it just, or like a dark purple. It almost looks like a gray, but it's actually a dark purple. And then the next one was blue. And then green. Yellow. Orange. And red. So there you go. There's that. So this is a really easy design once you get going on it. Okay, so then the next thing is we want to make sure we put our next cap on. Actually, yep, the next cap is next. And then we're going to work on trying to get this O-ring on the other side. If you stop, you may want to just curl the end around here so that when you're working you don't knock off all your beads. Because like I said, you can cut that off later, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, just put a little loop at the end so you don't lose all the beads on the other side while you're putting your O-rings on. And like before I said, I was using my needle nose pliers, and you're going to see, I told you I was going to stop. Hopefully this doesn't end up being too bad. So I'm just trying to get to a point where I can get it on, and I want it stretched out as much as I can get it because it makes it a little easier. Sorry if I'm not in the frame, I'm trying to be. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going, it just takes a little bit. Sorry, I'm trying to be in the frame at the same time here. There, I got that one on for you guys so you can kind of see where it is now. Yay, I'm excited. Woohoo! It's awesome when things go your way. Alright, so I slid that all the way back down, and then I'll move it back up in a minute just to, get rid of the tape. But that really helps a lot. Otherwise, you're going to be struggling a lot because the leather just goes every which way when it frays. The thing I like about the O-rings is that it does help with that fraying issue, and it just makes everything look so nice and neat. Even though it doesn't look like it is right now, it will be. There, yay, we got it. Thank you, Valerie Bub, for teaching me that. That was exciting. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years, but I still love learning, so I'm learning a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, okay, I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to take this off. I want it to be a little neater than this. That works. Move that up. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I'm trying to watch the video and show you guys at the same time. Trying to make sure I'm in the... Yep. So that looks kind of pretty good. It might stay. Let's see how it goes. So you see how I tied this off. Now I got to cut it. Try to cut it as cleanly as I can. I know these aren't wire cutters, but everyone's probably looking at me like, no, don't cut them with that. But they work a little better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I'm going to find that core again. And you can see it right there. I'm going to feed this side through as far as I can. If at this point you have way too much, just see how far it can go, because you can always cut it and trim it and just keep going. I think it's going to be way too big, which is fine. Look, you can wear a necklace out of it. It's almost a choker. Okay, I'm just joking. Alright, so I have too much here. I'm going to probably go, let's see, if I want this to be here, I'm just kind of doing an estimate here. We want it to go to what, about there? Yeah, we could cut that off here. But like I said, it's always better to start with way too much. You can always use this for another project, because this looks like it actually might be enough to just do another one. So just hold on to your scraps and you can do something with it later. We're going to go in here. This still is really large. It won't look so bad. So even if you get this part done and it looks really big, hey, maybe this could be a dog collar. I'm just teasing. It would be a really small dog, like my Chihuahua. Don't worry about this at this stage. It's not a big deal. You can move your O-rings up a little bit to kind of squish this down. Yeah, it looks nice so far. Okay, so I'm just trying to make this nice and as tight as I can get it. So get that wire in there as far as you can get it. Keep squishing. All right. At that point, that's a really large bracelet. That might fit someone's ankle. It's okay. The reason it's okay is because you're actually going to cut towards the middle here, because you're going to want to put your end caps on. I love it. I think it's gorgeous. Although I did this better the first time. You'll know me. I like to tell jokes as I'm going along, so. All right. Whose ankle is big enough to do this? Okay. Anyways. I crack myself up sometimes. All right, so you want to find your center, and the easiest thing is you can either use a measuring tape, but the great thing is that the green bead is exactly in the center. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that down. And my wire, hopefully the wire's not all the way down. It might be, and that's fine. Yeah, it is. So I can feel it. I'm hitting it. Do you ever get working and can't find your tools when they're right next to you? All right, so I'm going to cut that right down the middle here. Maybe. They do have leather cutters for sale as well, and I'm going to go ahead and buy those eventually. So I do feel like that is like definitely way too big. That's okay. I'm just going to kind of see where my arm is. You can use a measuring tape if you want to. So I would probably go cut this down quite a bit. So I'd probably cut maybe about here. I don't want to cut too much off. I want the leather, obviously, is a big piece of this project. So I think I'm going to go about an inch down off of this one. And don't worry about this. You can fix this in a minute. I know I saw it slide off too. Let's go off about an inch or an inch and a half. It might be more like 2. Okay. Then I want to make sure this gets back in here because you want this to be nice and neat. Okay. This should be okay. If you need to cut this little bit of wire off, that's fine too. Or you can do your best to kind of like feed it through. You might even be able to go like this. Yeah, get it in there. There it is. That's pretty. Okay, so then I want to see about how much I took off here. So let's see how big this is. Let's get an approximate. You see what I'm doing? Okay. About there. About there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut this side. This should be really pretty when it's done. It doesn't take that long, really, once you get going. It's a little bit, taking me a little bit longer, just because I'm trying to explain it. I do really like it. It's a quick and easy, gorgeous bracelet to do. And I'm pretty excited to share it. I have a festival coming up soon, so I'm really excited to share this. It's a unique way of doing things. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to want to glue this in. I actually forgot my glue. So I'm going to stop the video for just a quick second. This looks like I might have cut it too much. So let's see, I don't know. Once we get the, yeah, so that's actually not horrible. Once I get the end caps on and I start to get the toggle clasps on, this should look, it should firm right up and it should fit me fine. And even if it doesn't, you can just add extra jump rings to extend that length. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause for just 1 minute. And then I'm going to go grab my glue and then I'll show you how how to put the end caps on. I will be right back. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm actually back with some glue. I like to use the Loctite Super Glue. It works really, really well for me. But there's a lot of jewelry glues like E6000 and different types. I guess it's just whatever you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to fill this. I'm probably going to go maybe a quarter of the way in. I don't want it to squish back out when I get done. So go ahead and do this. Try tucking in everything you can. Let's see, it's like try to hold that there for a minute. Just let that glue dry. You can start preparing your other one. Yeah, whatever you can just, whenever you do this, just try to firm everything up. If you need to move this closer before you glue your ends in, that's fine as well. See, that firms that up really nicely. And it shouldn't slide out. Should be fine once you get your end caps on. All right. Okay, I went about maybe a little more than a quarter here. So I see my glue. Okay, then glue your end caps on. You hear my toddler in the background. She's dressed as Elsa right now, looking very cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that sit for just a minute. And what I'll do is while that's sitting, I'll start prepping my toggle clasp. I'll start with this thing. See if I can get my fingers to work here. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't realize I was going out of the camera view. It's fun kind of having this be my first video. Because I always see the tutorials online and I'm like, how do they get that to stay in line? I have to be very careful. Okay, so that looks really nice. So pretty. I'm pretty excited. Actually, this isn't such a bad thing because the one that I made before was really big. This one other here is pretty big. So even if this one's a little bit smaller, we get some small wrists at the festival, so it'll be good to have a good variety of this particular bracelet in different sizes. Yeah, I'm really excited. So I'll probably stick with the chakra bead for a little bit, and then, but the options are endless. Whatever your heart desires is pretty much what you can do with it. I actually just got some jade beads in. I have a bunch of stuff coming from Dakota Stones soon too, so this is just a lot of options, a lot of creativity going on here. Okay. My goal is to try to get that loop as tight as possible. And there you go. You got your finished piece. It's so beautiful. I'm hoping it fits, but I might have to. Yeah, for me, I have to make it adjustable, which is fine. I probably only have to add like 2 jump rings to make that fit me, but like I said, I have a lot of customers that come by that have really tiny wrists, so I will probably leave this one be and just sell it. But this definitely should fit an adult. Like I said, you can also make them for kids too. I'd probably do it for older adults. My 3-year-old would probably lose it pretty quickly. So there is your finished piece. It's beautiful. I love it. I love this design. Thank you, Andra, for having this in your store, because I got so inspired by this. It's such a beautiful piece. It's stunning. But like I said, I will go ahead and I'll look up the stones and I'll let you guys know what I used for the chakra beads. Thank you so much for joining my tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I think everything went well, but like I said, even if you do see my hiccups, it's not a bad thing, because I like to teach people how to troubleshoot. So it's good to run into issues while you're on a video. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Jennifer. I'm from Raven Knights Crafts, and I have an online store on Etsy. Come visit me. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye.